How's it going, guys? And welcome back to another episode of the Bochum Career Mode. This is episode number 29, and today is the final episode of Season 2. Really exciting stuff. Obviously, in the last episode, we know we're already going up to the Bundesliga, but this is the big episode. Do we go up as league champions, or do we only go up as second place runners-up? Obviously, it doesn't matter if we go up as runners-up or league champions, as we're still going up to the Bundesliga. I'm already ecstatic to start playing. I've already played a little bit of the first bit of the season, and it's good. It's looking pretty fun. I'm just excited to get going, but I don't want to start it until I've at least made this episode and put it all out. So hopefully that's going to be a nice fun start to Season 3. Heading into the first game of today's episode, it was against Union Berlin, the team we were battling against to get into that first place spot. We did not start the game off well, though, as in the first 5 minutes they broke through our back line and scored. Their top scorer, I believe, number 10, Anderson. Fantastic goal from him. Really nice team goal, some nice passing, just splitting us open, and a great finish by him. And that was 1-0, and if I'm being honest, the home team were looking much better. They had the crowd behind them, and they were looking like the team that wanted the league more, basically. As Sebastian Anderson there shows that Union Berlin were top of the league at this point for a reason. Luckily for us, we would go on a little break here as Shipnowski has got the pace to beat the two centre-backs, and he does put it in the back of the net. Obviously, two experienced centre-backs for Union Berlin. Subotic has got so much experience of playing in the Bundesliga, and he just did not have the pace there to keep up with Shipnowski. We have got a very pacey front three, and I think it will cause problems in the Bundesliga. I think next season we're going to look to play on the counter-attack, as that seems to work for us pretty much every game. In this league, at least, I'm hoping it's going to work for us next season as well. We're definitely not going to be pushing for European spots next season. It will be a relegation battle, I feel. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. In the game, though, we were playing like the much better side in the first half. We had so many chances, and it was really down to our poor finishing and just in general, good goalkeeping from the Union Berlin keeper there, number 31, Rodriguez, I think it was, in goal. Not sure who he is, but he made some good saves, and he kept his team in the game, basically. And Rossi missed a couple of chances, and that was an absolutely great chance. Just a shame that Uruguayan didn't have his shooting boots on in this game, as he couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. As you see from the stats, though, we were absolutely fantastic. 7 shots, 4 on target, 57% possession. We were looking like the much better side, and actually going into the second half, we started off pretty much as we started the first half off, as we conceded early on in the 60th minute. I sadly wasn't recording. I noticed as soon as they scored the goal that I wasn't recording, so I did have to go back and just show you the goal. It was just a poor goal to concede. We lost possession in their half, and they played a couple of passes forward and basically scored straight away. And again, it was another poor bit of play there. Eden Wanyi off the bench for them, our former player, puts the ball into their first goal scorer, and he just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net as Thomas Kraft made a good save. Sadly for us, though, Thomas Kraft makes a punch, eventually finds his way out to Flecker, the number 17, puts it in the box, and who would score it? Of course, it was Eden Wanyi. Then number 9 scores his first goal for the club against his former club. Honestly, I just put the control down and started laughing. I could not believe, of all the times for this guy to score his first goal in the Bundesliga, he chose to score against his former club and put his current club in the lead and pretty much put them in the driving seat to win the league at this point. And we did get a consolation goal, I would think, as Promel scores against his former club. So not another player in the game scoring against his former club. And actually, it fell to Theo Bear, who got through. He had one chance. He was one-on-one. And, of course, the goalkeeper, Rodriguez, makes the save. And in the final, literally the final kicks of the game, he saves his team from drawing the game, and means that Union Berlin would come through this game as victors. I believe at that point they had won the league. I obviously wasn't going to show the league table, but you can pretty much tell we were a few points behind Union Berlin. Anyway, about 5 games to go, and we had to win every game, including the game against them, and it wasn't good enough even if we'd drawn against them. So sadly for us, we do look like we are going to finish in second place. Not the end of the world, and yeah, I sound a bit deflated, But as I said, it's not the end of the world. We're still going up to the Bundesliga. I'm still absolutely ecstatic and smiling even as I say this. We are heading back to the Bundesliga, and we would go into the final game of the season with Patrick Fabian, the club captain, captaining the side in the final game against Ingolstadt, who were needing a win in this game. Ingolstadt obviously were, I think, second from bottom in this game, and they needed a win to pull themselves from bottom of the league, pretty much. Obviously, we were starting a pretty rotated side. Patrick Fabian was in, a lot of youth players were in. Gonvula still started because we were wanting to ensure he got that top scorer spot. But it wasn't him that scored first as he was played through here. He just doesn't have the pace to get past the defender. He plays a little ball in behind for David Lacroix to put the ball in the back of the net. Fantastic finish by the young Frenchman, and honestly, I've been singing this man praises in the past couple of episodes, and he has been absolutely fantastic. Didn't start in the last game, but this game he started and got the nod in the centre attack and mid spot, and what a goal that is from the young Frenchman. As I said, he's been nothing short of fantastic. He's either got a goal or an assist in every game he's played, and that is his second goal in the Bundesliga. And honestly, I was thinking of loaning him out next season to get him some more game time, and the amount of game time he's had and the opportunities he's had to score, he's been pretty good this season. And Lacroix is definitely on my radar of players that maybe he should be at least getting a stake for himself to be in and around the first team for the Bundesliga season. He nearly set up Robert Tescher there in the first half, but sadly, our old man himself couldn't put it in the back of the net. It's probably looking like it's Robert Tescher's last game as well for us. I'm not going to be selling him next season, but I believe he will probably be retiring next season, and we'll get his game time limited. And Lacroix there, what a nice goal that is from him. A little chip over the goalkeeper, absolutely sensational stuff. Second assist for Gonvula in this game as well. But let's give all credit to Gonvula for his assists in this game. But Lacroix, fantastic again. You can see here he breaks through. Just a nice little pass, perfectly weighted through for Lacroix. And first time on his weak foot, bear in mind, he is a left-footed player. And he just dinks it. Perfect amount of weight on the ball to get it over the keeper. It's absolutely fantastic. It gets better at every replay. And Lacroix there gets his third goal this season. And he's, as I said, he's been fantastic. Really looking forward to seeing what he can do next season in the Bundesliga. Ingolstadt would go ahead and pick themselves up a little consolation goal just in the dying embers of the game as just a bit of poor defending, really. Little bit of lack of concentration there, and Ingolstadt go ahead and score. Nobody's celebrating him with him because they realise they need to score another 2 goals against the team that is going up this season. So they pretty much had lost all hope at that point, and for us it was a little bit of a lack of concentration. Our young goalkeeper made a decent palm out, just not a good enough pass out or punch out to get to one of our own players, and we just go ahead and concede there. Not the end of the world though, as we do go ahead and still pick up the win. And pretty much, as you can see, Lacroix picks up man of the match, 2 goals, 100% pass accuracy. He was fantastic. Again, as I said, he played really well. And we just get a couple of notes here from Danilo saying thanks for playing us in all the games, as he did come to us earlier on in the previous episode saying he wasn't getting enough game time. He's happy with that now, which is good news. At least he's not going to be unhappy. And as you can see, we pretty much have finished the season at this point. We've achieved our objective. We've increased the club worth by 50%, which is always good. Bochum don't really have a lot of money in the bank in real life, so increasing it by 50% may not be a lot, but it's still enough to keep the club going. And I think going up next season and playing in the top division is going to be huge for the club's finances and just huge for the club's stature as well. You can see we get the final scout report here for some of the youth players. Not a lot of great players, just a couple of players from Germany and one from the Netherlands. Christopher Koenig and Hansen being called up to the youth academy, and we'll see what they do. I believe we do actually call up Hansen, as he was 18 at this point, and we decided just to give him a chance to see what he was like, and we'll probably see them in some scout reports a little bit later on. Just going through a lot of training at this point. I had quite a few different sort of setups for quite a few different players, as I didn't want to overtrain everybody, as we had pretty much about 8 training sessions, so I just sort of spread that out to give an even amount of growth across about 10 to 12 players. So I was sort of aiming to spread out the training and just get the increases going sort of nicely through the squad. And you can also see a few of the youth players there. I'm not really showing you the stats. I'm just showing you the position changes. So feel free to pause there, as that's the position changes they will have going into next season, as that's the sort of positions I'll be playing them in next season if they do get some game time. Just because, for instance, players like Moller, he was 49 rated, and when he's like a 50 plus rated, I think 54 or 55 rated centre mid. It just made no sense for him to be playing centre back at 5'10". So I moved him into a more defensive midfield role, and we'll see how he does there. If he doesn't play well, we'll move him into different positions and we'll just try them out a little bit. And you can see there from, this is just going to be the end of season stats pretty much. Gonvula picking up the Golden Boot and also the top assists in the league. Man City win in the Premier League on 109 points. Paris Saint-Germain 38 wins in 38 games, and Bayern unbeaten in the Bundesliga. That'll be an interesting league to go into next year. Piemonte Calcio win in Serie A. Rangers beat Celtic, and Real Madrid go unbeaten in La Liga, only beating Barcelona by 1 point there. And to be honest, the leagues across the world are looking interesting. Obviously, there's still a bit of an issue with teams going unbeaten in the season, and I think it'll be interesting to see how we perform against Bayern, as we'll probably lose quite heavily next season against Bayern in both fixtures. Definitely the home game will be an interesting one, possibly playing 7 at the back or something like that when we go into a game against them. Just going through the squad report really quickly, not a lot I can say about the players, apart from they've been nothing short of fantastic this season. Moussa Kone, I think he got 10 assists in the league, and a majority of them coming in the first, I think, 15 games of the season. He really didn't have a great second half of the season, as Rossi sort of took his place in that left wing spot, and he sort of made a lot of appearances off the bench. Everybody else, though, fantastic season from Thomas Kraft. He was crucial in us keeping clean sheets and just having a very good defensive record. Other players like Arsenal Janik, another great season. A great season from him, as he had a fantastic first season for us. Glad we brought him in on a pre-contract. Leitch had a good breakthrough season, starting a majority of the games. Not sure what I'll do about our centre-back role. We've obviously got the player coming in from Borussia Mönchengladbach, whose name escapes me. I'll eventually remember what his name is. But he's coming in next season, so I don't think we'll need to improve on our centre-back position, as we've got quite a few good young players and some decent experienced players. I think right-back-wise, we're pretty good, as Kim Jin-Yar and Godin had a fantastic season as well. Godin as a backup was really good. In regards to the left-back spot, I'm thinking of possibly improving on that, as Danilo's, as I said, he's a good player, but he's not going to grow anymore next season, and Romeling is a great backup, but just not quite good enough for the Bundesliga. So we'll maybe look to improve on that. In regards to all the centre mids, Promel was a fantastic signing this season. Obviously, Robert Tesche was slowly decreasing over the course of the season and had a great second season, even though he was he'd lost all his legs. It was such a shame that Robert Tesche was decreasing, as I just love that guy. It'll be interesting to see what happens to him next season. And across the board, really, right wing and left wing, we just had some great players. Olkowski and Shipnowski, both battling well for that sort of role. And Rossi had a great second half of the season, sort of warming up to playing into the team. And striker-wise, Theo Baer, I say his name a lot, but he has been fantastic. Really good performance from him. Just regards to being a backup striker on Gonvula. There's not much else I can say about him. He's been nothing short of fantastic last season, and this season he's had a second season just to every striker would dream of. And yeah, fantastic from him as well. Is there anybody else I've missed out? Moussa Kone, he's been pretty good. Just a shame he's sort of slipping into that backup striker role as our first signing. It's just a shame that, you know, he's not going to quite make it, and possibly may look to move him on next season if a bid comes in from him. I won't obviously put him on the transfer list, but if a bid comes in for him, possibly we'll look to move him on. But that will be the end of today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed watching. We are going up to the Bundesliga for the first time in 10 years. What an achievement that is. I am absolutely buzzing for that, and I can't wait for the third season. And I will see you for the next episode of the Career Mode very soon. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.